Say hungry dog run fast. I ain't hungry, I'm starving.
Hurt takes the snap. He's back, he's gonna run. Jam, touchdown! Jam on Hurt!
When that cage opens up again, our teeth are snarling. We're drooling. We're ready. We're hungry, ready to hunt again.
Dallas, we hate you. Racing snow, the Eagles train to go. The Eagles win!
And again, and again, and again.
It ain't about them, it's about us. We play up the hunt protection. Each and every one of us together. Nobody can beat us, I promise you. Promise you.
What is that, my brews? My Bird Brus. Welcome back to another Speakin Birds. It's your boy Speaks. We are here. Training camp is here. Football started. That's crazy. Like, it's just like overnight. You wait for it. Like it's like the first day of Christmas. You just wait for the day that it's back. And I know games aren't back. That's like the first official day, but man, it feels good. It feels good to have that training camp. Man, I'm so pumped. I'm pumped for the season. I'm there. Man, the training camp season started off. Cooper DeJean, he's on the NFI list. He had like a hamstring injury. They said he got caught in a weird position lifting. So like, I don't even know it. Like, you could have just said hamstring injury. I don't know. But I was excited to see him. Cooper DeJean, excited to see him. So we're not going to see him quite yet. Landon Dickerson, lacerated toe. And the big story with the dude, we're going to remember this lacerated toe forever. I guess he had a slip and slide party, which I saw on Instagram with like all the offensive linemen. Which I respect. I love that, like, team building, unit building, kind of like gives like, hey, like the first time we see each other, it's not going to be like getting into school, right? Like the friends, like, growing up, your friends, you're not going to meet them for the first time after the summer in school, right? I mean, this is an extension of hanging out all summer. And I know those guys got families and things going on, but it is kind of cool to know that, hey, like, we're going to see each other. We're going to get the small talk, all the pleasantries out of the way before the first day of camp. A lot of people call it the first day of school, which I think it is similar. But yeah, so there was a slip and slide party. Landon Dickerson, way to step up, man. There's a lot of leaders on this team. Like Mailata stepped up. Looks like Dickerson, like, hosting the party. Like, that's cool. Had a party, slip and slide. So I don't know. A lot of the reporters, a lot of people are saying it happened there, which is fine. Whatever. I mean, lacerated seems like a weird word to describe a cut toe, but I guess you can't say cut toe. Cut toe off. Whoa, what? So he's got a lacerated toe. So I think it happened there. If it's not bad though, I take that trade off. Get together with the boys. You know what I mean? Get together. So yeah, training camp's in full. Man, they're at the NovaCare complex. I was just thinking, like, back in the Lehigh days, I think that was like my favorite. It was like one of my favorite memories. I had a few down at Lehigh, but one of my favorite, like, I was an adult, and me, friend of the show, my boy McGee and Craig. And our buddy Mason, he's a Cowboys fan. Ugh, I know. We all went down to Lehigh to watch the Eagles training camp. That was the season. That was the season that Michael Vick, I think, had just gotten signed. I don't know. He might have been there a year. I think he was there a year, but it was like, hey, we want to see what this guy's got. Like, we know Michael Vick, and I think Dean Abb had, kind of been on that decline. And I think there, I remember being like, I remember shouting something while walking by them. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I remember being like, Vic, it's your season, or like, something like that. And I think later on he did go on to be at the helm. So who was right? But yeah, that was my favorite experience because we were all just there. We're like, when you get like old enough to like finally like, hey, we were from Harrisburg, right outside of Harrisburg. So, when you get old enough to like actually like take a trip, like, hey, we're driving down here, So I think I remember I drove and it was pretty cool. Just, hey, we're here. Cause before that, you're down there with parents and stuff. And we all got the Reggie touchdown Reggie Brown jerseys. I still have mine. It doesn't quite fit. Again, this was, keep in mind how many years ago that was. Years ago. Speaking of years ago, that jersey is infamous in Chicago lore. Let me tell a story quick. Before I tell that story, I got a brew here. Hey, eats and speaks, drinks and speaks. It's the boy speaks. You already know. We got this Moonlight Brewing Company, Bombay by Boat IPA. It's a West Coaster. Let's see what this is clocking in at. I don't even know. It doesn't even say. They got a ton of lettering here. So they got a whole thing here. Let's do here. Look, a classic IPA offering balance and drinkability by weaving a blend of American and European hops with a reliable malty depth like all Moonlight beers. This IPA is unfiltered and aged. Like, just tell me what's the percentage on this bad boy. Santa Rosa, California. Man, I love Santa Rosa. I'd love to get up there. Funny enough, the guy I mentioned, the Dallas fan, Mason. If you're listening to this, Mason, hit me up. He lives in Santa Rosa now. Let's crack this bad boy. See, we don't even, you gotta put that ABV on the can. Am I right? You gotta know what you're getting into, huh? All right, let's go ahead and taste this bad boy, and we'll do a review. If you guys aren't familiar, I do beer reviews, food reviews, here and there, and I have a Speaks Happy Hour podcast. If you want to check it out, we jam out and taste some beers. Ooh, that's ripe. Man, that tastes like a lager that wants to be a West Coast IPA. That's great. I'd say that's like a. I was gonna say 9.6. I was gonna say 9.6. I think I got trigger happy. I'll say 9.6. That's a great freaking. And you're like, well, you only took one sip. How do you know that? Because I know it's great. Man, that's a great beer. I grabbed this from a local bottle shop. I knew Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa, they have Russian River Brewery, obviously. Pliny the Elder, Younger. They got all that good stuff. The reason why this jersey lives in infamy forever. So they were me, my cousin, and our buddy Bartek. We used to always hang out. We're like, three-piece, man. We used to always hang out. Chicago, North Side. Ah, man, I forget what season this was. Oh, it should be there. I don't know. It was probably. It was the season where we were both having pretty good seasons, and it was going to come down to like who makes or breaks. So I think it was probably October, November. It was the first snow. It started snowing. And Jay Cutler used to do a live show from it. They called it Edison Park Inn. It was a nice bar. It's a nice bar like in Edison Park, North Side Chicago. We all had the day off. My cousin's like, hey, you want to go? So yeah, sure. Let's grab a couple beers. I put on my Eagles jersey, Reggie Brown, 86. And so we get there. We're all set. We get like front row seats. We were like the degenerates. So I mean, not too bad, but we get the front seats, and so Jay Cutler cancels for some reason. So Brandon Marshall sits in. It's Waddle and Sylvie too. So this isn't just some like podcast. This is going on the radio. This is like ESPN 670 or whatever it was. Waddle and Sylvie. So Brandon Marshall's sitting in. I'm sitting there in my 86. It's a black jersey. 86 Reggie Brown. You can't see the Reggie Brown though. You just see the 86. And what I mean by we're the degenerates. Remember that remember that The Office scene where they all go to the play and there's that wine bottle that clinks down, like clink, 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 clink. That I think our buddy Bartek spilled his pitcher of beer and it was like clink, 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 clink. But anyway, we get to a point. Unprompted by anyone. Brandon Marshall's talking. And out of nowhere, he stops. He's eating wings too. They fed him while they're doing the show. That's a part of the whole thing. He stops and goes, "Is that an Eagles jersey?" I go, "He's probably talking to me," because I had looked around and there's no one in an Eagles jersey. I was like, "Yeah, it's an Eagles jersey." And then Waddle and Sylvie, I think it was Waddle. He chimes in. He's like, 86. Is that Fred Barnett? Which, probably the more famous, 86. And I go, "No," I go, "Reggie Brown." And everyone goes, "Reggie Brown." And everyone was like, "What? Why are you wearing an 86 Reggie Brown jersey?" It was amazing. And I was like, man, I would rather wear this. Not saying over Fred Barnett, but. And then Brandon Marshall, he comes, he gets a little mouthy. He starts coming at me. And I remember, I go, December 22nd. I remember that date because that's when we were playing them. And like I said, we were both good teams and we were going into it was like, okay, we're going to go into the end of the season. We're going to be in the stretch. That's going to be a huge game. Demolished them. I think Brandon Marshall had 14 yards. I told him, I was like, dude, December 22nd, you want to talk? That's your time to do it. 14 yards. So yeah, that's a long way to say that. Yeah, man, that training, that training camp experience was fun. I really like that a lot. And I miss how people could go to that because now it's in, South Philly. You can't really get there and they don't allow people to get there. I think they have restrictions on what can happen, but B Marsh, if you're listening, should have put up more. Let's look at that. Let's see if we can find that date. I don't know how we would on the fly. I should get a Fred Barnett jersey just to. It's neither here nor there. I think it probably would have been, I think 2014. Let's get back to the training camp. Now here was a report. I think I mentioned this on the previous episode, or maybe I didn't. Who knows? The report that there was a rift between AJ Brown and Hurts, which I think I said this, give us a photo, just give us something maybe they're not those people. I'm not saying everyone has to be the type of people where everything is on social media. But just give me something we're hanging out. We're doing this. And I mentioned, I think at the Celtics playoff game, they were all there. People are taking photos together and they don't. It might be that they're kind of trolling the media maybe, but I don't know why you would play with that fire. This is all to say on the official Eagles social media page, I think it was the Instagram, there was a photo of Hurts holding AJ Brown's daughter. Now it didn't say that. I had to go it was one of those slide right type deals. So I had to go back and really investigate what was his daughter wearing in his picture. All this to say that it was AJ Brown's daughter that Hurts was holding. So that kind of made me feel better because I hadn't seen them really put that fire out. It wasn't even a fire. It was like hot coals, what's going on here? So it made me feel better. I think they're friends because the report was oh, something happened between these two that no men could recover from. It's what does that even mean? I got to find out the reporter who said that. And shame them. But hey, if it was something like that, I think they're cool now. Just based off of Hurts, holding And mind you, it might have been, I don't know the names of the children or anything like that, but you know, he's a godfather to one of the kids, so he might have been holding his goddaughter. Let's hope and pray that everything is good. Speaking of tumultuous relationships, now I don't want to make this a thing because I don't think it is, but it's something to watch. We mentioned on the last episode the relationship between Hurts and Sirianni. I mean, like, we played the clip where Hurts was just not complimentary where he could have been, and he got the For the Birds award, the first ever For the Birds award that he is. But he was asked about it again. He was asked about it the first question of the press conference, and I wish I had the reporter who asked it. I think I know it was. Hurts just kind of cuts him off, and he goes on this monologue, which I kind of respected. Kind of like I don't know. It seemed like Hurts has more. Like I saw him run out of the tunnel, and he had a smile on his face, and he's like, you know, he's got his hands out, he's high-fiving kids. And I don't know, the smile. It's so weird how these little things can kind of like make people feel better, but he had a smile on. And you know, Hurts isn't one for smiles. I mean, you've seen him smile, but he's not a smiley, happy, let me like have emotions kind of guy. So he comes out, he's got the smile on, and then the reporter asks about his comments or, you know, the relationship, and he cuts him off. He's like, let me say this. Let me say this. And he kind of goes on. He doesn't really address it. But he said some other things about, like, you know, if we were on the same page and we were winning, and he goes on and talks about it. So again, yeah, like we know, like if you win games, things are good. If you lose games and have a historic collapse, things are bad. Do I think that their relationship has been tainted to where they hate each other? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But I do think it probably left on a sour note. Do they talk every day in the off season? Probably not. I think they have to work on. I think it's. And Sirianni says, you know, he goes on to say, I live this. You know, we see stories, you know, here and there, but, you know, I live this. The only thing you can base things off of is your personal interactions, he says, between Hurts and himself, which is true. I mean, we don't know. Maybe, like, all it would take is for Sirianni to say, like, Hurts, hey, come in here. Close the door or whatever. Leave it open. No, close it. No. Leave it open. No. No, you'd probably close it, right? So close the door. You could probably iron this out in 5 minutes. Hey, we okay, man? Like, I know things, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let's do it. Yeah, same goal. Yeah. Could probably iron it out because I don't think it's gone as far as where it can't be fixed in 5 to 10 minutes. A quick conversation. So, yeah, I don't think there's much there, but I think it's something to definitely keep an eye on. If God forbid, if the season doesn't start out like as we all hope it does and expect it does, these things will probably boil to the top pretty quick, you know. Boil to the top, boil to the bottom. Let's take a quick little break. When we get back, we got some more to dive into, so stay tuned. Cheers. Barkley, the Eagles, probably the biggest free agent signing of the offseason. Poached, taken, just willfully taken from the rival New York. Are we even calling that a rival anymore? I mean, when you beat somebody so bad over the last 7, 8, 10 years, 10, I don't know, I might be pushing it. maybe 10. I was never concerned about the Giants. We took their man, Saquon. He's back home. He's a Pennsylvania cat. The cat came home. Just so happens the Giants have the Hard Knocks series. It's off-season Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks always does a great job of kind of giving you a look in, like whether it's in season, training camp. This, I think, was their first time doing the off season. So you get it like you get a look at the front office, and the Giants are on there. And I got to tell you, and I'm not trying to be biased because I'm an Eagles fan and boo Giants and blah, blah, blah. It seems like their organization just isn't ran well. Does anybody else get that? And again, I don't want this to be, I hate the Giants. It can't be. Well, let me give some examples. I guess I have to put. I didn't even think about this. I can't just say it's run poorly and not, back that up. So I think the GM, Joe, I think it's what Joe's showing or whatever. I don't think he has a grasp of like kind of what's going on. I don't know. From what I've seen, again, it's a TV show at the end of the day, and you're not seeing everything and it's edited. I get that. It doesn't seem like he has a grasp on what's going on in terms of, they'll be at a meeting and it's like people are just like Googling stats. It almost seems like it's like you're just hanging with your boys on a fantasy draft. It's like, for example, Brian Dabble, their coach, is like, let me Google the last, 10 years of, top 10 quarterbacks that are still with team. And like, I don't know, there were other situations where showing like, he's like, oh, let's Google that, or let's do this. And it's almost like, shouldn't you have a team put together that does that? Or, I mean, I get that that's part of the job, and I'm not saying that like there were other situations where I feel like he should have known kind of like what, like that's your job. Like you should, go to sleep, like you should have that. Yeah, I think, and they got like Joe Mara. I don't even know. Is he the owner? Like, who is Joe Mara? Is he the owner? So there's like this old like crypt. He's like an old guy that just like he just like comes like he like staggers into a room. He's like old grandpa. It's like he's like talking like this. And to Showman's credit, if he has any, he like kind of brushes him off the whole time. It's like, who wants this like old energy? Like, I get it, dude. He's been there forever. He's got tons of experience, ton of knowledge, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh man, I'm going to be, he did offer like the funniest lines of the series. I was like, well, if Saquon goes to the Eagles, I'm going to lose sleep. And it's like, he ended up going to the Eagles. So don't sleep well. But yeah, anyway. I'm just so thankful for the Eagles organization, the front office, the owner, Howie, all of our scouts. I mean, I don't think we're bums. Everyone just seems like bums. And maybe am I being too harsh? I feel like you watch and you're like, what are you guys running? Like, which is good for us. I hope it continues that way. On the last, and this is probably editing too. I in no way, shape, or form do I think their GM Schoen is taking advice from his kids, but I guess it was take your kid to work day on draft day, and I guess his kids were in the office. Which first of all, I don't know what the Eagles did because we don't have a camera. But if I'm a GM of a football team and it's draft day, I'm saying, hey, let's do take your kid to work day another day. Like, hey, just stay at home. You don't want to be in school. That's fine. That's the whole purpose, right? Is to get out of school. Stay out of school. I'll bring you in on another day and we'll put something together. Having like family, his whole family was there. First of all, these kids are like 16. One of them was a kid. It's like, no, stay home. It's draft day. So like that was another thing that stood out. Like what? I don't know. Okay, this turned into like the hating on the Giants podcast. We always hate the Giants, but they're just like they're like little losers, like little brother. I don't want to punch down too much. Watch the series, find out for yourself. Take another sip of this Moonlight Brewing. Bombay by Boat. It's smooth. It's a great beer. Santa Rosa really knows how to brew that brew. Man, I am pumped. I'm just pumped. What else we got? Jergens. We got Jergens taking over for Kelsey. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, right? He's going to do it. That guy, man, his press conference, it's like, he gets it. I think he's able to, somebody said this, it was, I think it was Zach Berman. Shout out to Zach Berman and Bo Wolf. I just started watching their, or listening to their podcast. It's a great podcast. I think it's on the PHY network. If you just type in PHY, you'll see it. And he made a good point. Like, it's one thing to get drafted. Maybe this wasn't their podcast. Maybe okay, whatever. I heard it on a podcast, but shout out to them anyway. Great podcast. I heard this on a podcast. It might have been. I think it was either Rube or what am I doing here? They made a good point. It's one thing to like come in and follow up a Hall of Famer like Macho Harris did with Dawkins and like not have that like experience of like playing under him or playing with him. It's like, hey, I'm just like going to follow this guy. I never like met him, or maybe they did, but you know, Jergens has that sort of, I mean, they were together, what, 2 years, I think. So there's a sort of a familiarity. Like you're taking over for like your peer, your friend. It's not like, hey, this guy's a larger than life figure. It's like, hey, I know this guy. He's a cool dude. And you know, I'm taking over. And I think he can handle it. Just like a hard-nosed Nebraska farmer, dude. That's what you want. That's what you want. Everything else is looking great. I'm excited to see what they do. DB wise, like, what do you do? I feel like we went from like freaking out about talent to having like way too much. And I don't know. I haven't heard people talk about this, and maybe I'm out of the loop. But safety. Okay, so we got CD back. You know, he's got the swagger. He's starting. And then you got one other spot. So it's like Sidney Brown. You got DeJean. You got Blankenship. Like, is it Blankenship's spot to lose? I don't think it is. And I haven't, you know, I haven't seen anything saying that it was otherwise. So we got competition there. I'm excited to see that. Cornerback, I think it's pretty apparent. You know, Slay might be not on his way out, but he's older. He said himself, not many more of these. And if he starts to slip, you know, we got Mitchell. We drafted Mitchell, so I'm excited to see how that. And then Keely Ringo, he's playing great. He like showed up. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Yeah, we got Nolan Smith. I'll say this. He was on an Instagram video for the Eagles posted. You know, they do like that social media stuff. He looked jacked. He did one of those like, and he was jacked. So that's my sleeper. That's my sleeper. I'm looking for him. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to be like, I mean, I don't want to say he looked like Josh Sweat, but he was cut. He was cut and big. Look at me, physique wise. All right, guys, let's do a bump. Let's do a bump. We'll be back. We're gonna take a sip of this brew. We'll catch you on the other side. message from Tommy Boy from downtown. Tommy Boy, what's going on? What's going on, man? I think we met at Mad River. Mad River used to be, I don't think it is that way anymore, this legendary Chicago Eagles bar. I mean, oh man, so many great moments there. So many. I watched the Super Bowl season when we beat the Atlanta Falcons in the wild card round. Watch it there. Man, it was great. The Super Bowl was so, I chose to go to a different spot for the Super Bowl because I was like, this is going to be so packed. If there's one thing you know about me, it's I hate waiting for a drink. And I was like, that's going to be the whole thing. So went somewhere else, couldn't get into Mad. I even talked to the guy. I was like, man, Mad River, I was here every game. But, man, so there was a spillover bar like right next door. So it wasn't too bad, but man, it was a great day. Man, Mad River used to be the spot. Good cheesesteaks too. Good cheesesteaks. They did it. It was like a mix. It was like a mix between, they had like the good ribeye and I think they did like the American cheese, but they put it on like this Chicago style, like a French roll. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like an Italian beef. It was like a French roll. Kind of hit, slapped. I'd say 8.7 out of 10, especially when you're watching a game and you got a couple Miller Lights in you. This question's from Tommy Boy, downtown. Do you think safety should be 3 points? And what do you think the Eagles' chances are this year? So a two-parter. Oh, and he says, Love Speaks Happy Hour. Keep up the great work. I'll see you soon. I guess I'll see you soon. Hey, and thanks for that Speaks Happy Hour shout out. Guys, if you like the show, check out Speaks Happy Hour. Follow us on social media. Alex Eats and Speaks on Instagram. I think that's it. I don't know, YouTube. There's stuff out there. Just look us up, all right? Do I think the safety should be 3 points? I don't think it should be. I think safety's a hard feat, but like, I don't know. I think ultimately there's something about making it as many points as a field goal. And I'm sure I could Google this and they would break down why it's not. But I don't know. There's something about making it as many points as a field goal that kind of troubles me. And you would say like, oh, well, it's unique. It doesn't happen often. You know, maybe it should be more. Look at this unicorn thing that happens, but I don't know. I think the difference is a field goal could come. Well, I don't even know. I was going to say it could come from the effort of the offense, in which case you've kind of earned that extra point. But say there's a fumble, you recover the fumble on defense and the offense is backed up and you're in field goal range. You kind of go 3 and out, and then you kick an easy 3. I mean, maybe it should be worth 3 points. Maybe it should be worth more. That was my initial stance, was that it shouldn't be more than a field goal because the field goal would indicate that you kind of put something together offensively to earn that extra advantage. But I just thought, yeah, what if you're playing defense? You know, first play, quarterback takes a bad snap, defense falls on it, offense goes 3 and out. Hey, let's kick a field goal. I think there's something to be said though for like keeping like your end zone safe. Like you never like I feel like, well, then it should be more, right? If that to me is like, let's protect this zone. Like this is our house. This is our zone. Let's protect it and let's like stay out of it. Let's get to the other one, right? That's what it is. Man, maybe, dude, Tommy Boy from downtown. You might have hit on something here. I don't even know where I stand. I'm trying to think like how many games have been decided by a safety And would that even like, I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. Guys, let me know. Message speakinbirds@gmail.com. That's speakinbirds@gmail.com. We'll have a phone number soon. You can leave voicemails. I don't know. Should it be more? I'm almost leaning. Dude, I started like it shouldn't be, and now I'm thinking maybe it should be. Maybe it should be more. Like, because, yeah, it's kind of like it would force teams to protect that so much more. I kind of like the idea that it should be 3 or more. Like a safety, like, yeah, like 3. Because like a 3 is a field goal. Right now, like that 2 is like, it's like, yeah, that kind of stings. You gave up 2, but kick a field goal. Like, but if it was worth 5, there might be some sort of competitive advantage too. Like if you get pinned down there, it's harder to get out. I don't know. That's a good question. I think my gut is telling me that it shouldn't be more than what it is. But my heart is telling me that it should be more. So that's great. And where do I see the Eagles going? Do the Eagles have a chance this year? I don't know. We'll see. I think it all relies on Jalen Hurts. I mean, as a like quarterback, I think last year he bulked up a little bit. I think this year he's thinner. He's healthier. I think the knee was a real problem last year. I will say that. Maybe shoulder. I don't know. He's looking smooth. He's looking crisp. He's looking lean this year. I mean that should be promising. He's having a good training camp up to this point. I think we're 2 practices in. I think we're like day 4, maybe day 3. You know, we have so many weapons on all, like the offensive weapons are insane. I mean, the defense I feel like has more question marks than the offense. Sure, we have a new offensive coordinator. Nick Sirianni took a step back. He's popping into just random position rooms, whatever. He's like Joe Mara. He's like Joe Mara. He's like just popping in. Oh my God, Nick, hang it up. Nah, he's good. I don't know. I think it's Hurts. I think we're set up for success. And I think Nick's future with the team is definitely this year, considering, you know, maybe there were talks. We don't have to dance around it. There were talks that he would be fired. And I think they really sat down and evaluated things and gave him another year. I would say it's Super Bowl or bust for Nick Sirianni. I'll say that right now. I think if we don't make the Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni is gone. And I say that because, like I mentioned in the past, we have such a great team. And you can't get rid of Hurts. Or no. It's I think it's Super Bowl appearance or bust. I really do. Maybe championship game, lose by a hair. If you get blown out in the championship game, you're gone. If it's a heartbreaking loss, maybe stick around. I'm not even gonna go into that. Tommy Boy from downtown. We'll get into like real expectations once, like, we're going into it. You know, once we know. I think if we were to start the season tomorrow, I think we're a playoff team. Yeah, I think we have the talent. You know, maybe divisional round, championship game. We'll see. I don't know. Tommy Boy, great questions. We'll see you soon. Guys, we're going to head out. If we miss something, we'll grab it on the next one. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. Shoot an email, speakinbirds@gmail.com. You can send questions, send thoughts. It's going to be a great season. We'll check in. Let's do it. Go Birds. Cheers.